Welcome to CBC Windsor News at 6. I'm Meg Roberts. Thanks so much for spending part of your evening with us tonight. 24 staff members could be laid off from the Windsor Essex Health Unit. We have the details on that tonight. Plus, drag queens are speaking out about comments made by some Amherstburg councillors regarding a festival happening next month. And Bright Lights officially opens tonight. We will go there live to see some of the beautiful displays. Windsor Essex County Health Unit staff are facing layoffs due to budget constraints. Several programs will be impacted as a result. CBC's Jennifer LaGrassa has more.
24 union and non-union health unit staff could be laid off ahead of the new year. That's because of budget constraints that the Windsor Essex County Health Unit is facing. The Board of Health approved a $24.9 million budget at the end of last month. That's an increase of $1.5 million from 2023's budget. But the health unit says that provincial funding increases don't keep up with the rate of inflation, and COVID-19 efforts won't continue to be funded into the new year. Both of these led to a program review, which has forced cuts. Some of the impacted services include substance use and harm reduction, nutrition and healthy eating services, healthy growth and development. Jennifer LaGrassa, CBC News, Windsor.
In an email, the Ministry of Health said that since 2018, it has increased Windsor Essex County Health Unit's funding by nearly 13%. That's in addition to the funding the government says it provided for COVID-19. You can find more on this story online at cbc.ca/Windsor. Well, it's that time of the year. Tonight is the start of Bright Lights at Jackson Park. It's just about to kick off with the tree lighting ceremony happening at 6:30. This year's event promises to be bigger than years past, but staff had to overcome some unexpected setbacks to get this show ready. Our CBC's Chris Ensing joins us now live. Chris, I know the weather is not exactly ideal. Has it dampened the mood any?
Not for me, all right? I'm not going to lie to you, Meg. I've already seen the big guy himself. Santa is here in Jackson Park. No umbrella, but no heavy jacket either because it's a bit warm from what people might have expected. We'll get into the details of the when and the where for all this. Jackson Park is where this is for Bright Lights, but I just want to show everybody what's going on here. So we've got a brand new train station in the back there that you might be able to point out. Over there, 2 games tents where they've got ping pong. You've also got a little bit of tic-tac-toe action over there. We've got some cool new chairs that I'm going to show you in a bit as well out here. But one of the big things that we've noticed is the size of the holiday market that happens with Bright Lights, and it's getting bigger and bigger. You've got cotton candy and mini donuts that smell delicious. I'm not bringing any back for you, but I might have some myself. We've got the whole market system going on here. Halo Eats is over there. Hot sauce. We've got basically anything that you need to grab on that holiday list is available here. This market is open on Friday and Saturday as far as selling items. Food is available on weekdays. I think if you look over my shoulder there, you might see someone pretty special. But I want to come back over to here. We're going to look at the big, huge Christmas tree that's dark right now. At 6:30 is when it's all going to light up. And we should point out, too, this year it's a continuation and building on things that have happened in the past, but they faced a little bit of adversity too. That fire that happened about 2 weeks ago, it's for a hay maze for kids, but that still hasn't stopped any of the event organizers from being very, very excited about this event today.
I'm sure everyone has heard of the hay maze that was burned down. That has not stopped us at all. We still have plenty of activations for children to take part in, including, like I said, the train rides are going to be going again, films to watch when they're snacking, and it's just going to be a great atmosphere for families to come visit.
There, I got to ask, what's been your favorite display so far? And you can't say the mini donuts.
It's not the mini donuts, although again, they smell delicious. It's these chairs right here, these little swings that they got, the LED swings. A lot of fun. I think we're going to see a lot of pictures of people inside of that over the holiday season. We should say that this whole event kicks off at 6:30 tonight, but this is just the start of things. There's live music that's going to be out here on some of the nights as well. This all starts at 5:30, runs to 10 every night from now until January 7th. Tuesdays are the day to come if you want a more muted experience. It's a sensory-friendly day. And again, make sure that when you do show up, you have your wish list ready. Santa Claus himself is going to be here, available to take some of those requests if you've been good this year, Meg.
Love the tour, Chris. Thanks so much for that. That's the CBC's Chris Ensing reporting live. Amherstburg's True Festival is set to happen next month and includes drag queen performances. But the event was almost derailed by some town councillors' concerns. The CBC's Dawson Chen has more.
We are under attack. I feel like these councillors have just not experienced enough diverse drag, nor have they ever seen me as Windsor's premier theatrical drag performance artist.
Windsor's Adam Bergman, whose stage name is Disco Jesus Windsor, was among the drag performers at the first edition of Amherstburg's True Festival in 2020. The outdoor winter dance party is a municipally funded event. It's meant to celebrate inclusion with the slogan, "Be True to You." But Amherstburg Town Council on Monday almost didn't approve the road closures necessary for the event. 2 councillors voted against doing so. Their reason? The presence of drag entertainment.
There was some members of this community that do take offense to it and don't think it's family friendly and inclusive. Bottom line is it seems somewhat on the risque side of entertainment. Certain members of this community will not attend this festival because they have young children and they feel that it's not proper.
I received numerous phone calls and emails. They were very, very angry and very upset about it, and to advertise it as a family affair. People found it very offensive.
Both Courtney and Pouget declined CBC's request for an interview. Other members of town council disagreed with them, and the motion passed 3-2. Disco Jesus Windsor says anti-drag sentiment is rooted in fear and ignorance.
So when it comes to my style of drag performance art, I can share from the debut year of True Festival that I delivered something that was absolutely family-friendly, worthy and driven, and something that would be no different than you would see as a surprise performance at Disney World or Disneyland.
Amherstburg's True Festival takes place January 27th on Dalhousie Street. Dawson Chen, CBC News, Windsor.
The city says its free menstrual product program didn't take off as they expected, but others think it's a good start. The pilot project began in May of last year that placed dispensers for free pads and tampons at 7 city buildings. Those were selected by foot traffic frequency. Since then, less than 7,000 menstrual products were used, and staff say that's lower than expected because 26,000 items are left. A group of students who created Girl Up, which provides free period products across Windsor, hopes council agrees to stick with the program despite its slow start. They also have some advice for the future success of the program.
We have a lot of locations set up at public libraries, and in a lot of the cases, our pantries are set up really close to the door. So people don't have to go in and be searching around. It's right at the door. You can go in and grab anything that you need and you can leave. I think our pantries were put in really public places, and it's public places in a really visible spot where it's really easily accessible. I think that helped a lot. I think it mostly has to do with kind of the accessibility of the locations and the awareness of the program. We're from Windsor. I'm not sure. I've never heard that this was happening. I'm not sure. Isabel, have you heard about it?
No, honestly, when you guys reached out to me to talk on it, I didn't even know it was a thing. So
yeah, so I think it's partly an awareness issue, and then also I think the WFCU Center and maybe some of the locations might be less accessible than some other ones.
You girls are period experts.
We've worked through so many of these issues. I definitely think it's on the right track, and that's honestly, in the beginning, our thing was even one, right? Even if one person is benefited by this, that's amazing, right? Because I can't imagine not having a product when you're needing one. So seeing these numbers, I'm personally, I think it's a great start.
The report will go to a standing committee this Wednesday. Senior Manager of Parks and Recreation says part of the follow-up might be expanding to other locations. Regardless, they intend to exhaust all the product as they get further direction from council. In 1909, Detroit became home to the first paved mile of road in the U.S. Now in 2023, they're hoping to lead the way in the electric vehicle revolution. A stretch of downtown roadway will charge certain vehicles as they drive. We took a spin across the border to find out just how it works.
So we're walking here on the electric road, where underneath us here on the road we have copper coils. They're embedded here under the ground about 4 inches. These coils are then connected to these boxes, which we call management unit. You see those boxes there that control each coil individually. So the vehicle would come, have a secondary coil underneath the vehicle, and will get a charge as it passes this coil under the ground, one by one. And as it drives over, it goes past it. So it's only activated when you have the vehicle above it. So it's a very simple system because you can look, not science fiction, right? It's a regular road. We put the lines here, the dots for, testing on different types of alignment methods, but in terms of a road itself, it's nothing fancy, high-tech. This is a regular road. It just has a capacity to charge the vehicle as you go wirelessly and be a source for solving some of the biggest barriers to go to electric and becoming a revenue source as well for cities and states that can use this to charge the public and fleets. Now we're driving on the electric road, and you see here we're getting a charge while we're driving wirelessly, and here you can see the speed of the vehicle and it's operated where it's operating. So this is pretty fantastic because we will drive on this road with this vehicle, and then we'll go take a lap, and the vehicle will get a charge as it delivering folks to these stations and buildings. So we'll be able to charge also statically, and together give a benefit to these types of vehicle that they can operate longer on a smaller battery, and that they can also reduce the size of the grid connection, because now we're spreading energy over the time during the day, but also over the space, right? So this is the beauty of electric roads, that it can actually charge the vehicles during its natural, how we behave with our cars naturally, right? So no need to stop just for charging, if you can charge on the vehicle, in the vehicle, on the road while it's driving, as we're doing right now.
We're exactly 1 week away from our special Sounds of the Season broadcast. That's where we partner with people in our community to give back to those in need this holiday season. You can bring canned goods right to CBC Windsor at Riverside and Crawford, as well as other locations like the Willisted Manor. And if you're there dropping off non-perishable food items, you might as well go for a holiday tour. The annual holiday tradition opens this Sunday. It's a chance to see the manor all decked out in its holiday finest. We went for a sneak preview today.
Well, we're standing in the Great Hall, one of the most beautiful rooms of the house. And the theme is Emerald City. You're going to see all the beautiful emerald green and gold hues in here. And it's very, very dramatic. I think this year the house in general looks absolutely fantastic. And we've already been receiving rave reviews about it. And I'm really proud of the efforts and the time and energy that everyone has spent to make it look its best. Well, I started coming to Willisted to these beautiful Christmas tours as a young woman with my family. And then my husband and I had a wedding reception here, over 37 years now. We're really encouraging everybody to remember those who are in need, and we're happy to accept donations for the Sounds of Season drive. There will be a box in the coach house. That's where you'll be going to get your tickets. So there'll be a big box, and we're encouraging, of course, our own members and their families to donate as well, because we do know this year especially, there are a lot of people that are needing food.
And don't forget to join us on Friday, December 8th for a very special broadcast of CBC Windsor News at 6. It will be our annual Sounds of the Season show. You can come on down to the University of Windsor School of Creative Arts to watch us put this show on live. That's at the Old Armories building. Swing by between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m. and don't forget to bring a canned good to support those in need. The Capitol Theatre this weekend will also be collecting donations during the Nutcracker. Today marks World AIDS Day, designated on December 1st every year since 1988. Like many places around the world, Windsor also struggled with the AIDS epidemic. This next piece is from 1989, an advocacy group headed to a local high school to promote safe sex in a rather interesting way. The move spurred a bit of tension. This report was done by former CBC Windsor reporter Margaret O'Sullivan.
Pets and condoms. Have safe sex.
All right, it's AIDS Awareness Week this week.
Free sample condom, anyone?
There you go. Free samples?
Free sample condom. Okay. I'll distribute them.
For the students, it was an unconventional start to their school day. But once they got over the initial surprise, they weren't at a loss for words.
God, holy cow!
The stunt certainly succeeded in getting the students' attention.
There's a yellow one.
Do you have a red one?
There's a red one right here. School colors?
Should be a red one.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah. Cool.
But some of the students viewed the proceedings as completely inappropriate.
It should be done somewhere else, not in front of a school, because then you're showing, hey, it's okay, when it's really not.
We feel like this is kind of encouraging promiscuity.
It's time to go in. The show is over.
Forester principal Jean Pavane was not the least bit amused.
I think it would have been much better if few people would have come to us as school authorities and said, this is what we'd like to do. We could have prepared the kids. We're just treating it as a big joke. You've embarrassed some of them, you've offended some of them, and the rest of them are treating it as a big joke. Wish you would take another approach on it in order to be effective.
Well, you're not correct on a few things.
Well, let me just tell you, that's your opinion and this is mine. Okay, as a school authority, I think you should have had the common decency to say, this is what we propose to do. We would like to work with you. And I think we would have. Right now, the kids should be in class. It looks like a sideshow out here.
Recent surveys show that by the senior grades, 3/4 of high school students are sexually active.
We weren't telling them it's okay to have sex. We weren't telling them it's wrong to have sex. We're saying whatever decision they make, take care of themselves and their partners.
The members of the AIDS committee believe it sometimes takes a radical approach to get this message across.
Not exactly the weather we were perhaps hoping for on this December 1st. We take a look at your full weather forecast coming up after the break. Colette, big weekend here in Windsor. We just spoke with Chris Ensing. He's at Bright Lights, which started tonight. Tomorrow is Windsor's annual Santa Claus Parade. I know today was pretty nasty, Colette. Please tell me there's some better weather in the forecast.
You know what I'll say, Meg, is that I think we're on Santa's nice list in the sense I can't do anything about the inclement weather. Like, we've got a couple systems rolling through this weekend, but the timing may work out relatively well. And what I mean by that is we get a bit of a breather this evening, and then and the next wave is kind of coming in, but then tomorrow there'll be a bit of a breather again, although a lot of cloud cover and some drizzle, maybe some fog in the morning, but in between the timing of the systems, you'll see what I'll walk you through all of it here. We'll look at the timing. The current temperatures, this is why it's coming through southwestern Ontario in the form of rainfall. Elsewhere, a little different story. More of an east to slightly northeasterly breeze here. As you move up towards Georgian Bay, it became more of a northerly flow, and even on the western edge of Lake Ontario. And so that's pulling the snow line into those regions. Mixing, yes, there is some, but kind of that light wet snow carries on from there. We're into this rainfall. I said there's a bit of a breather coming, so a slightly drier patch where it's less organized and kind of lighter in nature. That moves through. And then there is another wave that needs to ride through as well. And we have a second system, too, that needs to come through, and that will be for the second half of the weekend, towards the tail end of the weekend, and that one's got quite a bit of moisture with it. So here you go, some drying and a break into the evening. Overnight, the next round and wave comes through. It's lingering into early tomorrow morning, but as I roll this forward, again, some breaks. It doesn't mean there won't be some drizzle in here, some patchy areas where the fog kind of comes back and redevelops, but it should help in terms of the parade. And then we go into Sunday. Sunday, I would watch this carefully because it's still a few days out, so these model runs may change a little bit. It does appear like early in the day, the morning hours could be looking good, and then the wet weather moves in, but I personally wouldn't be surprised if this fills in a bit earlier in those afternoon hours. Quite a bit of rainfall. There will be snow and colder air on the back end with that one, but much of that stays to the north of our region. So with the first couple of waves here, we're looking at 10 to 15 millimeters of additional rain, and then the heaviest stuff is still going to be a little further along the lake into Sunday night and Monday. The temperatures tonight, very little change, coming down maybe a degree or so, but we're nearly steady there, and then up to 7 degrees tomorrow with that cloud deck still in play once the morning rain ends. Sunday, the next one rolls in, but it's still rain because of the temperatures. Could be a little mixing Sunday night into Monday, and that's when some of the colder air moves in. So it's rain, it's not snow. I don't know how festive that is, but we've got some dry patches.
I think what you're saying, Colette, is if you want to see Santa tomorrow, pack the rain jacket as well.
You have it around, but I'm really hopeful that we're going to have some dry time in there.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
It's a place of dreams, a city made out of gingerbread. We have more on that coming up. new 3-digit suicide prevention helpline has been launched across the country. People experiencing a mental health crisis can call or text 988 and receive a response 24/7 free of charge. CBC's Tashana Reid has more.
It's Canada's new 3-digit number.
988, a new number Ottawa says will be a lifeline for Canadians.
Canada's new 3-digit number for suicide prevention is up and running. Thank you.
Similar to 911, 988 connects people in crisis by text or phone to a live trained responder closest to them, available in English and French 24/7. Immediate support for people who are thinking about suicide or those worried about someone else. The operator will assess the individual's safety risk and take appropriate steps.
We all know that 988 will help save lives.
Each day in Canada, approximately 12 people die by suicide.
Materials that are going on to
Canada's largest mental health hospital is running the helpline.
We agree time is of essence, and that 3-digit number is going to make it much easier to get through.
The new crisis line brings together 39 local, provincial, territorial, and national partners, including Kids Help Phone, under one number.
People want to feel that they're getting support close to home, and they want to know that suicide prevention is there for them and those they love.
You should do XYZ if you
This nonprofit west of Toronto is one of the many community partners to join the 988 network.
listen to their story, assess any risks that they might be feeling.
Leading up to the launch, they've been training and hiring additional staff.
How do we make it so that, they've left this interaction with, okay, I have some hope.
And one phone call can make a difference. In 2007, Tanya Joy attempted suicide. 12 years later, she lost her brother to it.
It just takes that hello or questions like, what matters to you, or what do you need today, to feel like, oh, I am worth it.
The team behind 988 will be monitoring demand and wait times and report directly to the Public Health Agency of Canada. Now they say the job is to raise awareness so Canadians know anytime, anywhere, help is just a phone call away. Tashana Reid, CBC News, Toronto.
Sugar and spice and everything nice is on full display in London, England, just in time for the holiday season. Take a look at this mouth-watering gingerbread city created by the Museum of Architecture. All structures are completely edible and are sure to satisfy any sweet tooth. Ingredients include popcorn, chocolate, gummy sweets, and loads of icing. Well, that's it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for news anytime, you can go to our website at cbc.ca/Windsor. Thanks so much for tuning in. Looking forward to seeing you back here next week.